Into my high school, I've had like 15, 20 fights. I ain't never been knocked out in my life. And I've been jumped before by 4 or 5, just 5 niggas at a time. And I did not go on the ground. I did not land on my back or none of that. I was still standing up. You know what I'm saying? Kept, you wouldn't box me. What you in the gym for right now? What's your goal? To gain weight. To like a clean bulk though. Most of my losses came from a young boy, bro. Like I remember all my L's, bro. My worst L's was before I was even in the 5th grade, bro. Like bad, bro. Like bad. That's when I was the baddest. So it was like that shit was just bound to happen. But I still didn't give a fuck. But the way that fight went was weird. It started with like that's the fight I told y'all about. That one time where I was like the girl got all smart, and then I checked her, and then we started arguing, and I told her, I said, "Bitch, go get your boyfriend." And then I went that whole school day. Now mind you, she was in my grade. Me and her was sophomores. Her boyfriend was a senior. That didn't mean nothing to me. But I went that whole day. End of the day, walk out, let out, nothing, perfectly fine, right? I come in the next morning. They like standing by like as soon as you pick, because we would have metal detectors. They like standing there. I got my headphones and I'm not even paying them no mind because I'm like, and I was super arrogant back then. I ain't gonna lie, bro. And this was before. I want to say it was before I got jumped. When I got jumped, that shit like really humbled me. But it didn't make me a bitch. It just humbled me. Like it humbled me in a way where I'm like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I felt untouchable. I really did. I felt untouchable. Like I already knew my experience fighting. I knew like I never ran from nobody. Nobody ever checked me. Nobody ever pressed me. Nobody ever ran my pockets. None of that shit. So I was, and I always, any school I ever went to was in my hood. So I don't know if y'all from the hood or nothing like that. But when you live in the hood and your school is in your hood, that's home turf. Like that, like it like you don't think like, and the thing about Philly is, if you grew up in West Philly, that's your spot. Like you're not like in North, you're not in South. Like unless you got family in different parts of Philly, you really kind of stay in your hood. And you be thinking small minded. So it made me naive. Like that's why I say it humbled me, because it really like made me peep. Like yo, my high school was not in my hood. It was way out of the way. But this ain't got nothing to do with the fight. So that morning I come in, boom, past the metal detectors and all that. And I see them two standing together, and she like talking to him and like looking at me type shit. So I just walk past them and go to the bathroom. And I would do this every morning because I would get to school late, like right when the bell was about to ring type shit, and I would hit like a buzzer beater. Because what the fuck is the point of going in there early as shit to just stand around, right? So my sophomore year, that's when I was living with my pop, so I lived like close to the school so I could get away with this. So I came in, boom, right before the bell rung, walked past them, and I would have my morning routine in there. So I would go to the bathroom. I wouldn't even, you know how you wake up and you leave the crib and you go to the bathroom and then you get dressed and all that? I would literally have to get dressed and go to school. So I would go to school, go to the bathroom, I would eat breakfast, I would fucking go in the mirror. You know, I had short hair back then, or shorter hair, so I would go in the mirror, brush my hair. I'm doing my morning routine at school, bro. So I was just doing my regular shit. I go to the bathroom. Why at like the end of peeing, right? I never pee in the regular stall. Like I never pee in the fucking open joints. I always go where the stall is at, so I can close the door behind me. Like I'm not stupid. Now, I said I was not. I was arrogant, but I wasn't stupid. Like, I still knew how to, like, you know what I'm saying? I never peed in the urinals. I go in the stall, and the thing about the stall is, you know, it's like a gap between the door shit. A little tiny-ass gap. But the gap big enough. All right, I got hit with ass. Hold on, let me see something. Finish your story. Where was I? I was low-key telling 2 stories at once. Getting jumped and then fighting the bid boyfriend. Which one y'all want? The subs heard this. Y'all heard the continued story. But people that was just watching didn't hear what we was talking about. Like the regular one. jump, star, boyfriend. The boyfriend thing was basically over. So, like I said, I came in that morning, walked past them. They were standing outside the joint. This was the unexpected part. After I finished peeing and I literally pulled zip my shit up, turn around. As I turn around, I look through the crack of the fucking stall. I just see this nigga standing there like this. Like, literally, like. I'm like, no bullshit, chat. Now, let me tell you something. Like I said, after I got jumped, I start moving a little different. This was before I got jumped. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to give y'all like a visual representation of why this is important, right? So, as he right there, right? Our stalls had a hook. It had a hook on the joint. I got this big ass book bag. I had a key lanyard at the time, probably. I had cords, headphone cords, and I had a water bottle. I'm hands full, like walking around like a freshman, like keychain in my on my hip probably or around my neck, phone like this like this, and my cords connected in my hip, like inventory, like on my whole shit, like I'm walking like probably like this, right? So when I first look back, just remember those details about my inventory. LaRon is saying I appreciate the 6 months game. So I'm peeing. I'm like, all right. So I go put my book bag back on. Like, I'm not even thinking we gonna rumble. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even think it was gonna be a fight. I don't know why I didn't think this at the end of the day. Tell you how arrogant I was. Cause in my head, I'm like, what the fuck this nigga gonna do to me? You know what I'm saying? That's what I was on. And I also didn't see him doing what happened following this. So I see him through the crack. I'm like, I literally, I remember in my head, I'm like, oh my God. So I put like I said, I'm not even taking him serious. So I put my book bag back on. I put my earphones back in, grab my water bottle. I'm holding my phone. Like I'm moving like I'm about to just go on about my business. So as soon as I walk out, I look at him. And he go like kind of like slick, hesitant, but like you the boy Tykwondoe? So I'm like, yeah, why? So he said something like, you put your hands on. So you put your hands on Lex? Oh his girl, whatever. I'm like, well, that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? She told you the wrong. You know what I'm saying? She told you the wrong situation. And And in the middle of me like saying this, I'm like, well, no, that's not what happened. Well, she told you the wrong thing. So then he was like, in the middle of me saying this, the nigga go, no, shut the fuck up. I lied to y'all not. I lied to you not. I was like, I literally didn't even say nothing, chat. This is what I did. This is what happened. He said, no, shut the fuck up. I said, I literally automatically, I didn't even say nothing back. I automatically just turned to the side and was like, I'm putting my shit down. I'm listening. So I go to put my water bottle down. I'm going to take off the AirPods, and not the AirPods, but the cords. I had the cord headphones back then. This I was in 10th grade, so this like 2015, probably 2016 or whatever. AirPods didn't become popular and like around to like the following year or something like that. So I'm like, I didn't even say nothing. I just turned around and just was putting my shit on the floor. I'm like, I already know what this about to be. Well, I don't know. In my head, I'm like, ain't no way the fuck he just said that. So I get the water bottle down, I get the phone down and the my earphones off, and then I'm taking my strap off my book bag. This nigga already starts swinging. Boom, he get the first free hit right there. So then that's when, boom, we start rumbling. And this is the fight this is the fight that my nose bled from that joint. So, boom, he get that first joint. A sneak. I'm not even getting my stuff down. Now, granted, if it's a rumble, it's no rules. It's no rules. But, man to man, throw that shit up. Like, throw that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? No bullshit. I never been snuck in a fight in my life. And if I count from the day I was born to this day, I swear on my life, I've been in at least 25 fights. 10 maybe 15, 10 like 12 in high school alone. And like 10 way before I even was in the 6th grade. So I've been fighting a lot. And I never in my life been snuck before. Never in my life been snuck. So then boom, then that's when that fight started like that. But then this is where the fight turned over into my favor. He do the sucker punch joint. So boom, we rumbling right there. Now he close. Now he in close proximity. I was still wrestling back then. I wrestled my freshman year, but I ain't had a commitment. So I stopped going or whatever. But then my coach, he was like, I was getting in trouble in school at the time. I almost had like caught a case for like another fight. Like it was a lot going on. So my coach like talked to my pop and like, I was trying to get me back and like shit like that going on, right? Bottom line is, let me tell you something. Boxing is one thing, chat. Boxing, okay, your hands sharp. My nigga, if you know how to wrestle, that is probably the most unfair shit to take to a street fight on my life. Wrestling is the most unfair. See, boxing, a nigga can still hit you with some dumbass shit. But wrestling, bro, wrestling teach you how to leverage your entire weight. It teach you how to handle when somebody grab you. It teach you how to reverse when they grab your legs. Wrestling prepares you for everything, bro. Boxing, you might be sharp and a nigga can still throw some dumbass shit and still hit you. But wrestling is the only overpowered shit, bro. It teach you how to control a man. Like, bro, I'm telling you, wrestling. I hate wrestling, gay ass sport. I'm telling you, if you got to fight, right, and it's a pro boxer and a pro wrestler, you don't want to fight the wrestler. I'm dead ass serious. You don't want to fight the wrestler because all he got to do is put you down. As soon as he get in close proximity, it's over. So that's why I say he do the sneak punch. But what he didn't realize is now we body to body though. Off of this after this, like I instantly went to that. And then with wrestling, let me tell y'all this because this went into how my nose kept getting hit, like how the side of my face kept getting hit. In wrestling, when you like grabbing somebody, when you trying to like pick them up, you put your head into their side, like if this is the wall, like this is his chest, like it's a wall, right? My face will be in the side like that. Now, if there's any niggas that know anything about wrestling, then y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. Like your face, you taught to turn your face to the side like that, and you go grapple. You can do a single leg, you can go for the double leg, or if you do a single leg and trip the other nigga leg. Like I still remember a lot of the fucking techniques, bro. I literally remember when I was doing that shit. I'm like, I don't really take this sport serious, but I take this motherfucking technique serious, nigga. Head to the hip, exactly. I'll say, see, I know you know about wrestling a little bit. Head to the hip, like you turn your head outward like that. So on this point, from a fighting perspective, if my head to the hip and it's like turned like that, before I can even get the dump off, from his perspective, it's just like this. But after I got that off, boom, that's when he on the floor under me, and I'm on top of him like this. Boom, 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 boom. And Chad, let me tell you something. I done got in trouble for a lot of my fights. But it's 3 fights that I never had any. It's 3 fights that I never had any consequences for, and one of them was my freshman year, and I had last period lunch, and we went outside on the side of the school and we rumbled, and this was before my school had cameras. We got that off. I never got in trouble for that. That was a whole separate fight. It was another joint I told y'all about, and I told a story time about this on my channel, and it was the one in the audit. We had an assembly that morning, and at the end of the assembly, with a bell rung, I walked past, threw my shoulder at boy. He threw like a backwards hit, and then we just started rumbling. And then, I threw him over the chairs, and we rumbled. That's that story time. I never got in trouble for that. Nigga, principal on the stage, Dean, but I had a big-ass high school. So in my grade alone, it probably was like 600 people, and this was a grade assembly meeting. So when the bell rung, it's a lot of people moving. They probably, I don't know what the fuck they thought. Like if they thought we was like play fighting or if it was too crowded for them to really see what's going on. But I never got in trouble for that. And then this is the third one. And the thing about this one was it was in the bathroom. But bro, when I tell you it was nobody in the bathroom, it was just me and him. Like this fight almost probably would have never got broken up because nobody was in the bathroom. Only two people came in the bathroom. The first time, it was like an Asian kid. This nigga walked in, saw what was going on, turned around and left. Yo, he never even snitched. I swear to God, I cannot make this up, bro. I went to a pretty, like, what was supposed to be a good high school, but it was some niggas in there that wanted to bring the hood to the high school or try to be in there trying to prove something and try to have cool points. Like Chad, I grew up in the fucking hood trenches my whole life. Got stories and scars that I don't wear on my sleeve. I mean, I kind of literally have a scar on my sleeve, but this came from hooping. But I really done been through some shit. And I'm not cocky. Like, I'm not a bully. I don't go around trying to make people feel uncomfortable. I don't go around trying to bully niggas because that don't make you tough. That don't make you hard, right? But it's some people that when they get around others, y'all should know what I'm talking about, bro. Like, they act like they work backwards. These niggas literally work backwards. And it's like we literally make fun of them because it's like, yo, motherfuckers that come from the hood get an opportunity to go to a school like this or get to a better school or a better opportunity in life. And you supposed to become clean. Like, you supposed to tighten up all your mistakes, fix your crash dummy mentality. Like, nigga, you have a chance at life. The funny part about these niggas is they literally come from somewhat burbs. They not even from the trenches. Come to a school that's in a neighborhood, a better, like, kind of, not a better neighborhood, but has a better environment. Even though they already from a better environment, 2-parent household, community that's not even technically a part of Philly. Like, we ain't concerned. If somebody from Philly, they say, oh, this is such and such. I mean, like, that ain't Philly. That's that. Y'all know every city got that. Like, if we say, oh, somebody say they from Atlanta, but they really from, like, this area, and that's not Atlanta, man. Like, or like, I'm from New York, and they ain't from one of the boroughs. It's like, dog, you just claiming that shit because your spot, like, right here. Every city got one. So I'm literally like, these dudes is all from like type spots like that, right? And they come to the school where it's a better environment, everybody trying to be better, and they go in there and try to act like crash dummies, like try to act hard. Now, mind you, if you ever seen Madagascar, did you ever see the one where where they went back to Africa? Y'all ever seen that one where they went back to Africa? So when they went back to Africa and won Madagascar, and he said, pick a fight. Y'all remember that scene? He said, pick who you want to fight. Y'all remember that one? The lion went back amongst the lion. He's like, pick who you want to fight. And he looked around. He was like, he picked the sleeping lion. He picked the one that looked like he was a slouch, like the one that looked like he was asleep, not really paying attention. And then the nigga got up and he was the one that had the most smoke. That's literally like me as a player, Bill, bro. I'm very friendly. I'm very sociable. You might see me outside, man. I'm chatting. I'm laughing it up. I'm talking to some shorties. I'm having a good fucking time. You would look at me and like, oh, this dude's like he's like a slouch. Like, he be having fun. Like Ty cool, man. Ty cool. He just be chilling. But whole time, I don't like, bro. Listen, I don't even try to brag or talk about this stuff because I'm in a better space and I do better things with my life. So it's not like I have to, whatever, right? But I put that shit behind me and you would never be able to tell it because I speak in such a well-articulated manner. I'm very respectful. I can handle myself in any environment. We can go in a room full of fucking people with their PhDs and master degrees, or we can go to the trenches of the trenches, and I'm going to be good in both environments. I can communicate across all spectrums, across language barriers, age barriers, culture barriers. It don't fucking matter. I can do it. And have a consistent person. Like, I'm really able to just navigate like that. And I move a certain kind of way because of that. But so you don't see the sagging pants. Well, I got tats and shit like that, but you don't see the sagging pants. I don't act super aggressive and hard. Like, what's up, man? We're like, what the fuck y'all do? Like, I don't act like that. I'm chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I compare it to the Madagascar thing. Because you look around and be like, him. And it's like, nigga, I got the most smoke. On ready at all times. Listen, man. And I try to keep it to the stories I already told before because I don't like to dwell into too much shit. I feel like even speaking on it just bring up that kind of energy. But the jump story, I always tell that because that, like I said, that was a humbling moment for me. And I actually didn't even have to get jumped when that happened. Like, to my whole life, I'd never been a victim. Like, I never been robbed. I never been jumped. I never been, like, I did the opposite shit. Took people's shit, jump people. Like I said, you kind of live in your same hood. You roll with your people. Like you rocking, they rolling. You know what I'm saying? So this was like I was like naive, bro. Like I just had like a different level of arrogance. I can't even explain it, bro. The first person that came in was like some random ass like Asian dude. And then I remember, I'll never forget, he came in, looked at what was going on, and then just walked out. He never snitched. He never told the authorities that we in there fighting. Like, the nigga just, to this day, like I said, I never got in trouble for this fight. So I know he didn't say nothing. And then the second one is a freshman. But I already knew this freshman because we like after school, right? So days that, like, let's say when, I wasn't really taking sports serious or whatever, we would go, we had courts across the street from my high school. So if the let out was popping, we would just go across the street and hoop. And there might be niggas that's from the hood that would be over there hooping. There would be niggas from my grade, the grade below us, the grade above us. Like, we would just be hooping after school from like 3 to 5, bro. Like, we just have good ass hoop sessions. Park be jumping, right? And he was one of the dudes that I met through my other friends that hoop and it's really tough at ball. Like, all that. Like, so I already knew who this person was. And he was cool with a couple other my homies that was in the grade below us. It's not in high school. It's not like the grade below you. Like, the grade below you, like, y'all be locked in like this. It's the grade below you, and then there's 2 grades above you. It was like that for me. It was the grade above me. I was only really good with a woman. I did not like any of the dudes in that grade. We literally all had problems. We all had, like, it was not all, but it was just like a lot of weird shit. But when I was a sophomore, I met a lot of the people that were seniors at the time. So I was real cool with the people that was 2 grades above me. And, all that on the grade below us, we was locked in like this. So the second dude that came in, I actually like knew him. It's, my man's James. And when he walked in, that's when I was on top of him, just like boom, 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 boom. And he's like, yo. And he came in and broke it up, and then that's how the fight ended. But I'm like, yo, if he never came in, bro, it was nobody. It was just literally me and the dude in the bathroom, bro. Like, this was like the most spontaneous of some shit that ever happened. Zavo 3K, I appreciate the 6 months, gang. I was out, chat. Even in my worst days, I never was a crash dummy. We can go to any level of my life. When I was fighting and getting in trouble, I never was a crash dummy. Like, I never was just I want smoke every day. I eat, sleep, breakfast. I'm looking for smoke. I never was that. The thing about me was, though, I never tolerated disrespect. So that's why most of my fights, that's why I would get into a lot of fights, is because shit that other people could let slide, I wasn't letting slide. And granted, now that I look forward, like looking back, you don't have to always fight over everything. Like, everything is not worth a fight. You know what I'm saying? But I just wasn't on that at the time. Like, my only solution to conflict was fighting. So that's how I was getting into fights and handling shit. What made you change? This is really a deep answer, honestly. I was bad before, like, 7th grade and all that. I was really bad. Like I told you, I almost got expelled when I was in the 3rd fucking grade because I slapped the teacher. Well, that was one of the offenses. I slapped the teacher one time. I was getting into fights. And I slapped the teacher so hard, bro, her earring came out. Crazy. I pulled the fire alarm one time. I disrespected the principal. Like, I remember this as a kid. Some of the stuff I did, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? But this particular principal thing, I remember this. Our principal was an annoying ass bitch. She was annoying, bruh. And I remember we was in single file line going up the steps one day. And she was like bitching per usual. And she said something like, oh, if y'all don't straighten up this line or something like that, right? And then I said, dun, dun, dun. I said something like I mocked her. Like, I was like, dun, dun, dun. Like, cause she threatened us. She threatened us, bro. She gave us a threat. So I'm like, okay, dun, dun, dun. But when she turned, but listen, when I said it, she was at like the top of the steps. She turned around, who said that? Who said that? And I was just sitting there like chilling. Like, I don't know how she knew it was me. I was already one of the baddest kids in that school. But I used to like just get like chat. I was so bad at this school that when certain shit happened, they automatically knew who did it. Like when I pulled the fire alarm, I swear to you not, to this day, I'm like, how the fuck did they know it was me? We didn't have cameras, and I was the only one around when I pulled it. And they knew it was me. I don't know, bro. You probably look mad guilty talking about how, it's... No, but my poker face was crazy. Like, I was with the shit, nigga. But I said that, and then she was like, who said that? Who said it? I ain't say nothing about me saying it, but somehow she knew it was me, bro. Now I think about it, that's funny as shit, dog. Like, she threatened us. If y'all don't straighten up this line, then we... Dun, dun, dun. Like, that bitch, that pissed her off, bro. I got under her skin bad that day. But, what's it called? Like, I was bad as shit. So, what really made me change is that, I don't want to get into too many details because it's, like, personal shit to me. But my family cut like that. Like, my family, like, I don't want to get into detail, but my family is, like, on both sides of my family. So, I saw a lot of shit growing up. And my family was very transparent, I should say. So I knew where my actions was going. I don't know how I was this wise as a kid, bro. I literally remember where I started to like have some like change in my behavior a little bit. I still got into fights. I still got into trouble. But I remember like around 4th grade is when I was like 4th, 5th grade. I was being real bad. Like it was getting real bad. And then my grandpa on my mom's side, I mean, if I ever talk about this, it'll be in my book. So I'm not going to go into my grandpa and my grandmom and on my mom's side and my dad. And like, I'm not going to go into all that. But they have a history, a very GTA-like history. So I remember I was being bad, right? Yo, he had a beyond scared straight conversation with me, nigga. And something along the lines got mentioned that I was like, not happening, buddy. I remember I was good for like 2 weeks, then I went back to being bad. But I never forgot what he told me. Right? After that, though, but in general, like I said, even outside of that conversation with my grandpa, I was pretty aware of what my family was doing, what happened to them in their past, what they did in their past, what kind of shit that they was doing. So I was very observant. And they were also transparent about how this stuff has affected them. You know, catching felonies and doing this and like they were very open about how this has affected them. And I literally remember consciously thinking like, I know what's going to happen if I continue to do this. Because I also had friends who had damn near similar backgrounds. His dad sold this, and I don't even want to get into the details. If I do, it's gonna be if I write a book. So I don't really want to talk too much about it. But I have friends who had similar backgrounds, right? But the difference between me is a lot of like my homies had older siblings. So y'all know this for sure. If you was in the hood and your older sibling was ghetto as fuck, you damn near ain't have a chance. For you to do a 180 and your older sibling was with the shits and street into the street life, it was you already had a disadvantage because you look up to them. I didn't have no older siblings. I was the oldest sibling. You know what I'm saying? I was the only child until I was like 6 or 7. But I was the oldest. You know, I was my mom's first child. So, but I had homies who had older brothers and older parents. And the point I'm making is, Alekia, I appreciate the 19 months.
W.
Chad, I lied to you not. I got homies who got older siblings who was really with the shits, like was doing things like worst thing I can name is catching bodies, bro. Like real life catching bodies. And what this did to me, like just observing and seeing this shit, right? And these like my closest friends, bro. Like you you know how safe you feel when you cool with the shooter? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this, bro. Like, you know how safe you feel when you grew up with the shooter? Oh my God, like I listen, but knowing my homies, his brothers was like that, he was like that, and I started to really just observe shit. Like, yo, is this what I want for me, bro? Like, is this really what I want? And honestly, like I had a certain respect with all that shit because I got into my own fights. I held my own ground. I wasn't a bitch. I never ran from nobody. I never I took my L's. I stood up for myself, whatever the case may be. And I'll never forget the last time or last day I ever like dealt with some bullying shit. I remember I was in like the first grade, second grade maybe, second grade probably, and like my project building in my hood area, right? It was some older kids. It was two of them, and they was fucking with me, right, bullying me. I went in the house crying. Yo, my mom said, "I'm gonna whoop your ass if you don't go outside and fight." So I said, mind you, I already was being bad by now, so I already knew what it was like to get my ass whooped by her. So I said, I went right back outside, bro. Since that moment, I swear to God, I never ran from anybody. I never backed out. Like, I never ran from nobody before that. But this was like a 1v2, and these was the older kids of the block. So I was like it was just, and I was young, so it was like, all right, whatever. Bro, to this day, I never will forget that. I never will forget that, bro. I'll never forget my mom threw me to the sharks, bro. But the crazy part was when I went out there and I was like crying, like angry, chasing them, they didn't fight me. Like I probably was looking back, I probably was getting trolled because they was just like running around like the playground and shit. But they didn't fight. Like they could have jumped me, they could have pushed me down to the ground, and like we didn't even fight. And after that, I was cool. Like I never dealt with no bullshit like that again. This is my family and their background. This is my environment. I'm like, a part of me bluntly said, I don't want this for me. Now, in certain things I can't shake and untrain out of me. Like for example, I'm willing to smack the shit out of somebody behind my respect, behind being disrespected. I'm willing to fuck somebody up behind that. And I fully accept that about me. Because violence is not the answer. Stop the violence. Violence is not the answer. But I know it's like fight or flight is instincts. And my instinct is to fight. But I try not to argue with people. I try not to disrespect people. So like I said, I haven't gotten into a fight since like my senior year of high school. Or junior year, senior, something like that. So it's been working for me. I found a way to navigate to where I'm not taking disrespect. Nobody bullying me. Nobody fucking with me. And I've not been fighting. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I like how I'm cooling now. So it's been 3 years. Really like 4 and some change. Like I said, anytime I've ever almost gotten into a fight between that, it's probably hooping. But I'll be talking shit while hooping. So it's just to be expected. But that motherfuckers really at the end of the game will shake your hand and just keep it pushing.